The fight for clean electricity, the biggest plug point to avoid a climate disaster. How to avoid a climate disaster part-2. Imagine it is night time. A city is glowing. Lights are on in houses, machines are running in hospitals, children's phones are charging, servers are working in offices, and a production line in some factory is running without stopping. Everything depends on electricity. But now see the darkness hidden behind this very light. The very electricity that makes our life easy. To make that same electricity, the world even today depends on coal, oil and natural gas in a large quantity. The fear is exactly this, that if we fail to clean up electricity, all planning to avoid a climate disaster can become weak. And the curiosity is, when solar, wind, nuclear and new technologies exist, why is the world still burning fossil fuels? In the first part, we understood that the fight against climate change is stuck between two numbers. The first number is 51 billion, meaning a very large burden of greenhouse gases going into the atmosphere every year. The second number is 0, meaning that destination where the world will have to reach if it has to avoid a climate disaster. We also understood that climate change is not just a story of temperature rising, it is a story of floods, droughts, wildfires, sea level rise, crop loss, and the unfair impact falling on poor countries. But now the question is, from where should the start to bring this 51 billion to 0 happen? In Bill Gates' book, a very big answer to this is electricity. Electricity is the backbone of modern life today. Without electricity, a mobile phone will become useless, the AC will turn off, lights will go out, machines in hospitals will stop, factories will shut down, and the digital economy will come to a standstill. People in developed countries consider electricity so normal that even a power cut feels like a big trouble. But in many parts of the world, even today, reliable electricity is a luxury. Therefore, while making a climate solution, this fact will have to be remembered that we do not have to reduce electricity, but rather make more clean electricity. According to Bill Gates, electricity production is a large part of greenhouse gas emissions, and in his book, this share is stated to be around 27%. What this means is that if we make electricity carbon-free, we can win a major front in the fight against emissions. But an even bigger thing than this is that clean electricity can change the rest of the sectors too. If power is clean, cars can become electric, buildings can use clean power for heating and cooling, factories can electrify their processes, and gradually the carbon footprint of the entire economy can reduce. Now the question comes, when clean options like solar and wind exist, why are coal and gas so popular? The answer to this is very simple, yet uncomfortable. Fossil fuels have for a long time been cheap, reliable, and easily available. Over the last 100 years, the world built efficient systems to extract, transport, and make electricity from coal, oil, and natural gas. Power plants were built, pipelines were made, grids were made, mining systems were built, and the entire economy got designed according to these very fuels. Therefore, fossil fuels have become not just an energy source but a habit of the entire industrial system. Even today, the role of coal and gas in the global electricity mix is large. According to 2024 data from the International Energy Agency, energy-related carbon dioxide emissions reached a record level in 2024, and electricity demand is also rising continuously. At the same time, the IEA also states that solar and wind are growing rapidly, but fossil fuels are still deeply embedded in the power systems of many countries. This exact thing is the real complexity of the climate challenge. Clean energy is increasing, but energy demand is also increasing. Meaning, we do not just have to replace old coal plants but also fulfill the coming extra demand in a clean way. For developing countries, this challenge becomes even more difficult. In front of a poor or developing country, the first question is, how can my people get cheap and reliable electricity? If a coal power plant can give electricity quickly and cheaply, the government might lean towards that very side. Because along with the climate target, it also faces pressure from jobs, growth, poverty reduction, and industrialization. This is the reason why the fight for clean energy is not just a fight of technology, it is a fight of affordability. Bill Gates states an important idea which is called the green premium. This means how much the difference in cost is between the clean option and the polluting option. If clean electricity is very expensive, poor countries will not be able to adopt it on a large scale. But the good news is that the cost of solar and wind has reduced rapidly over the past years. According to the IEA, renewable capacity additions reached a record level in 2024, and a larger increase is expected in it by 2030. Solar PV and wind continue to be the biggest engines of renewable growth. This indicates that clean electricity has now not remained just an idealistic dream, but has become a serious competitor in the real energy market. But the biggest problem with clean energy is not the price, it is the reliability. Bill Gates calls this the curse of intermittency. Solar power is available when the sun shines. Wind power is available when the wind blows. But the need for electricity does not run according to our mood or the weather. Hospitals need power at night too. Factories must run even on a cloudy day, and the lights of cities cannot turn off even if the wind stops. This very point is where the story of clean energy becomes tricky. In the day, solar panels can make a lot of power, but what will happen at night? If the wind is strong, wind turbines will give plenty of electricity, but what will happen in calm weather? The easiest answer is storage. Meaning, when extra electricity is made, it should be stored in batteries and used when needed. But storage on a large scale is still not easy. Charging a phone's battery and storing a whole city's electricity, there is a huge difference between the two. Grid-scale batteries are expensive, and storing energy for a long time is still a big challenge. Battery technology is definitely improving rapidly, but the world still needs very big breakthroughs. If a country has to face cloudy weather or low wind for several days, then just short-term batteries will not be enough. The energy system needs such planning, in which storage, backup power, smart grids, and demand management work side by side. Meaning, the power system of the future will not be like today's simple power plant model. It will be more digital, flexible, and intelligent. An old method of storage is pumped hydro. In this, using extra electricity, water is pumped up into a reservoir. Later, when electricity is needed, that same water is dropped down to run turbines. This method is effective, but it is not possible everywhere. For this, geography is needed, water is needed, space is needed, and a large infrastructure is needed. Every country or every city does not have such a facility. This is the reason why we also need such clean energy that can give reliable power 24 hours a day. Here, nuclear power comes into the discussion. Nuclear power is a strong source of carbon-free electricity, because during operation it does not release carbon dioxide like coal power does. Nuclear plants can give power with a very high capacity factor, meaning they possess the capability to produce electricity continuously. In countries like France, nuclear power has for a long time played a big role in the electricity mix. According to our World in Data, the role of nuclear energy is different in every country. Some countries are increasing it and some are reducing it. The big advantage of nuclear power is that it needs a very small land area, and it does not depend on the weather like solar or wind. If nuclear plants are built in a safe and efficient way, they can become a strong part of the clean electricity system. But public fear is also attached to nuclear power. Accidents like Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and Fukushima created fear in people's minds. This fear is not without reason, because nuclear safety is a very serious matter. But Bill Gates' point is that the solution is not to completely ignore nuclear, but to work on safer designs, better regulations, and modern innovation. It is necessary to understand this fact that there is a risk attached to every energy source. Health damage happens from coal pollution, oil spills cause harm to the environment, gas leaks can be dangerous, hydro projects can affect ecosystems, and with nuclear, concerns about accidents and waste management are attached. Therefore, a mature discussion should not be about which source is perfect. The question should be which mix can be the safest, cleanest, most reliable and affordable. Offshore wind can also be an important solution. Wind turbines installed inside the sea or far from the coast can catch steadier wind in many places. The advantage of this is that electricity can be generated near big coastal cities. But offshore wind also demands expensive infrastructure. Turbines have to be installed in the sea, maintenance can be difficult, transmission lines are needed, and the risk of storms also has to be managed. Still, many countries are considering it an important part of the future clean energy mix. Now another technology comes, carbon capture. Its idea is that if a coal or gas plant releases emissions, the carbon dioxide should be captured before going into the atmosphere, and then it should be stored underground or taken into some industrial use. This sounds very promising to hear. But the issue is of cost. Installing and running carbon capture systems is expensive. Power companies do not see a direct profit from it, therefore things like government policy, incentives, and carbon pricing are needed. Without policy support, many clean technologies fail to scale. An important point comes here. In a climate solution, just invention is not enough. Deployment is equally necessary. A technology getting successful in a lab does not mean that it will work in an affordable and reliable way across the whole world. It will have to be manufactured, it will have to be installed, it will have to be financed, people will have to be trained, supply chains will have to be built, and regulations will have to be made clear. This is the reason why the fight for clean electricity is a fight of engineering, finance, politics, and public trust altogether. For countries like India, this topic is even more relevant. India's electricity demand is rising rapidly because the population is large, urbanization is happening, industries are growing, the use of ACs and appliances is increasing, and the digital economy is also expanding. India is working rapidly in solar and wind, but for reliable power, coal still holds a large share. Therefore, the challenge in front of India is that growth should also not stop and emissions should also come under control. This exact balance will be the biggest policy test of the coming decades. Now see why electricity is so central in the climate fight. If we clean up the power sector, it will be easy to move transport towards electric vehicles. If electricity is clean, the climate will get the benefit of electric cooking and heating in homes. If industries use clean power, the carbon footprint of products will reduce. Meaning clean electricity is a foundation. Without it, cleaning up the rest of the sectors will become difficult. But there is a danger here too. If we become happy just looking at solar panels and wind turbines and ignore grid reliability, storage, transmission lines and backup systems, then the problem will remain. The future energy system will have to be not just clean, but resilient too. In extreme weather events, power lines can break, floods can damage power plants, and heat waves can increase electricity demand. Therefore, along with fighting climate change, preparing energy infrastructure for climate impacts is also necessary. In this entire story, consumers have a role too, but a limited and meaningful role. If people use efficient appliances, do not waste unnecessary electricity, adopt rooftop solar, and support clean energy policies, then a difference can be made. But the real big change will come only when grids are clean, governments make smart policies, companies innovate, and investors put money into long-term clean technologies. Individual action is necessary, but without system change, reaching zero emissions will not be possible. The essence of Bill Gates' words is exactly this, that we will have to focus on practical solutions more than emotions. Fearing climate change is natural, but getting stuck in fear is not a solution. We have to understand that to clean up the electricity sector, a combination of solar, wind, nuclear, storage, carbon capture, transmission, smart grids and policy support, all of these is needed. No single technology alone will save the entire world, but many technologies working together can make a path. In the first part, we came to know why reaching from 51 billion to zero is necessary. In this part, we understood that the first big plug point towards zero is electricity. If electricity does not become clean, the climate fight will remain weak. But if electricity becomes clean, the path to transform a lot of the world's sectors will open up. This is the reason why clean power is not just a story of electricity, but is the foundation of the coming economy. Historical facts show that electricity is just one part. The world does not run only on lights and phones. We make buildings, we make steel, we make cement, we make roads, we make cars, we grow food and we transport goods. Cleaning up electricity is necessary, but to avoid a climate disaster, we will have to solve the deep problems of manufacturing, agriculture, transport and construction too. And the curiosity for the next part starts right from here. Because if making electricity clean is difficult, think how tough it will be to make cement, steel, fertilizer, meat production, and heavy transport zero carbon. The real question is, can human beings bring emissions down to zero while saving their entire modern lifestyle? In the next part, we will understand this very hidden challenge, where the climate fight reaches inside the factory, the farm, and the fuel tank.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.